Marcus, thank you for the Super Chat contribution. What's 3 creative policies you'd like to see happen? 3 creative policies. Okay, and I'm gonna answer that. I'm gonna answer that question specifically, creative-wise, because that's the question you asked. That's an interesting question. I don't know. Weigh in the chat if you guys have any answers. I'm not on the spot. I'm having trouble. Creative policies. I would like to see some type of like better grant funding for the arts. Now, unfortunately, especially like on the spot, I really don't know the most fair or kind of practical way to unveil something like that. I'll tell you something I would like to see. I would like to see, and this is kind of a more direct answer, I would like to see funding for DIY spaces. The way, you know who did that in the 70s and 80s? Bernie frickin' Sanders, by the way. Bernie Sanders did that up in Burlington, Vermont. He helped fund Burlington, Vermont's, with city money, he helped fund Burlington, Vermont's first DIY space. Because, you know, at the time, he was in local politics at the time, and he said, you know what, it's important what's going on at punk rock right now. Bernie Sanders knew what was going on, by the way. Bernie Sanders was paying attention to what was going on in punk rock when he himself was already in politics, and this was really underground. It was like Black Flag and bands like that, driving around in their vans, making no money. Bernie Sanders knew what was going on. Just saying. Bernie Sanders knew about it. And Bernie was like, this is an important movement, and these guys have messages that are important to the youth. So he made sure that there was some city funding for Burlington's first DIY space, which ended up being a really important one to East Coast touring, because there weren't a lot back then. So it really helped bands find gigs when they were trying to get to New York or Boston or even DC. So that is a cool fun fact about him. So that is something I would like to see. I would like to see real city funding for DIY event spaces that can be utilized by, and not just punk bands, but kind of all the subculture genres that are going on. You know, I know a lot's going on with electronic music right now. I know a lot's going on. Drum and bass is kind of popular right now. And I'm really not on the cutting edge of what is going on, because in many ways I'm an old man. So that's one, Marcus. Chris brings up another one that I am all about. Fund true public radio. I am for that too. I don't know if that falls into creative or not, but we'll say for the sake of this that it does. And I guess another thing I would like to see, I would like to see more public funding for music festivals. That's something I would like to see, especially in smaller cities. Well, I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and we have this thing, it still goes on, and it's called the Three Rivers Arts Festival. And it used to be a badass freaking festival, because the city was involved, and it was different like artistic creatives that got some funding from the city, and they put it on. One year, Sonic Youth frickin' headlined. One year, Buckwheat Zydeco headlined. The English Beat headlined. That would be how they would do stuff, and it was fantastic. One year, they privatized it, and a bank got involved, and a bank funds it now. It's sponsored by a local bank, and guess what? It sucks now. It frickin' sucks, because they don't think musicians or bands are worth paying, and they're not hip to the type of bands that would make sense for a circuit like that. They have no clue. So now, the lineups are a pile of shit, and the festival sucks. So anyway, that's my third answer.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you wanna know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you wanna know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your